welcome to all the listeners around the world. This is the second episode of a very special podcast on students, by the students, from the students, and of the students. And it is called Students of the World. Here we try to talk to students around the world and try to understand and communicate with them about their problems and how they're managing and evolving them in these unique times. Having said that, let's roll over to a very, very special guest for our second episode of this podcast, Student of the World, Nitya from India. Hey, welcome, Nitya.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. So let me brief something about Nitya. So Nitya is actually a fourth-year student from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, India. And I really have to mention this, that IIT is one of the toughest exams to crack for undergraduate. Trust me, all the students around the world, you need to hear this. So if you find any student from IIT, he has or she has made it to that place. So kudos to Nitya for that. And her hobbies are dancing. So I have seen her on stage and I've seen her some of her YouTube performances, and those are amazing. So she loves the stage and she loves reading. So these are two different kind of hobbies where one, she is so energetic, and on the other side, she's just sitting with a cup of coffee and just novel. So can you tell me about your favorite novel or the novel you're reading right
now? Okay, first of all, hello everyone. And Diksha ma'am has given a very nice introduction of me. So talking about my hobbies, currently I'm reading a book. I won't call it exactly romantic, but yeah, it's kind of in the romantic genre. It's called Call Me By Your Name. Most of you must have heard it, and most of you must also have seen the movie. Unfortunately, I did not, because I wanted to go through the book first. So it's a very amazing read. It takes you to very authentic places. It gives you a very nice warming presence of a book when you're reading it on an afternoon. So I do recommend that book to everybody, and I'm yet to complete that, so I'm eagerly waiting for the end. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Interesting, Nitya, how you're using your time in the times of pandemic. So
yes.
Get to the first question. So our first question to you, Nitya, is what were the biggest challenges for you in the year 2020 as a student, and how did you overcome those?
Okay. So for me, the biggest challenge of 2020 was dealing with the anxiety of not knowing what the future holds for me, especially because I'm a final year student. So this is the crucial year of where we are going to land up after we complete our graduation. So everybody has plans of, some of them have plans to study abroad, some have to prepare for some exams, some are preparing to sit for placements. But when the pandemic was announced, we were asked to get out of our colleges and reach home. I think that was the first biggest drawback of us not being together with our peers, because I think the biggest form of learning and the biggest form of a sense of responsibility or learning in a very entertainment way comes when we are with our peers. So suddenly we are thrown back at our house and then asked to prepare the entire year by our own. So I think that was the first challenge that I thought how we as a group of students are going to deal with. And because it was a final year, so we had our placements, we had our exams, we had many final year projects. There were so many things to complete, and which actually were very impossible or very difficult to carry out online. So I think there were many decision making tasks also, like to sit for placements or to search for a better intern and then take settle somewhere abroad for teaching for for an industry. So should I? There were many questions that I thought that I'll sit in college, I'll discuss with my friends, I'll discuss with some seniors to exactly to figure out what am I going to do. But then that all there was so much friction in doing that. So there were many months that just went by in overcoming that friction of doing things online. So yeah, that was one of the biggest challenges because there was nothing like this before. We never had to do something on a computer screen all the time. There's only much that you can do where you can talk over a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet. So yeah, figuring out how to best use that and then focusing on accepting finally that yeah, this is going to be how the situation is for a long run, and somehow I have to make the best of it.
Sure, Nitya. I totally agree with the point you talked about. I think this is a pain point, just not for the students, but even for employees or whoever is working from wherever. So earlier it was a choice that if you want to work from home or you want to have some
Yeah.
virtual classes, and now it's like you have only this option with you. So things are different.
Exactly.
So even you, student, being from all the techie world and always doing online, giving your submitting assignments online, but things changed. There was a topsy turvy in the medium of education for you guys. Even if you were like knowing all those new way of handling technology. So yes, I understand the pain, and I understand the pain of going through those Zoom classes. That must have not been easy for you guys, or like
Not
Google.
at all.
So like in United States, it's more like Zoom, and in India, it's more like
Okay.
I am not wrong.
Yeah, and Microsoft Teams. Yeah.
Microsoft Teams. Sorry. So yes, so I totally agree with you. So my next question to you is, did 2020 help you realize the relevance of our mental and physical well-being? Kindly share a story with us if you have one.
Yeah, I think I have a very good story for this one because before we shifted back home, and then we were like, okay, now this is how it's going to be, and everything, because suddenly if you're thrown into your house, and in a way you're being asked to regulate everything by yourselves. When we were in college, there was a specific time given to us that right, you'll be allotted 2 hours to complete your lunch, this much hours for your break time, this much time for your dinner. So in one way or the other, we were always time bound. But once we are back home, there's nobody who's regulating anything. So I took everything for so much granted that I didn't pay attention to any of my physical health. I gained so much unhealthy fats. I was very skinny back then, but I suddenly started putting on so much weight, and I didn't realize that this was. I thought, okay, it's a good thing that I'm gaining weight because I was very skinny, but I didn't realize this was very unhealthy way of gaining weight. So one day there were 3, 4, 5 months when I did not do any exercise. I just kept on eating, sitting at a place, and then finishing off my tasks, my internship, and everything. So one day, I don't know what struck my stomach. I got so many shooting pains, and then I was admitted to a hospital for 2 days just for the reason of me being so much negligent to my health. So I had to drop off all my work. I could not do any of my classes. There were many important meetings, many important discussions that I had to do during those 2 days, but I couldn't simply because I was in the hospital. And I don't remember myself being in a hospital ever, like at least admitted. So those 2 days I realized that how important it is to take care of your health, because that really health is wealth. That was the first time when it hit me that it's just not a saying. It really health has to be taken care of, and not only mental, physical, every sort, every health. Mental health also is very important because I think in the initial months I was very much. I used to get angry on so little things because maybe it was because of the anxiety caused because of my placements, my internships. Everything was so unclear. So then I decided that no, I have to deal with this. I started, and it was virtual. Everything was virtual. So I decided, why not talk virtually to my friends? So I decided I made a habit of talking, catching up with everybody, so that that there's a communication with people out there. I started feeling more social. So I started discussing my problems or everything, how problems each and every of one of us are facing. So we kind of got a feeling that yeah, everything, if we all are in this together. So because of that, I think I used to shout out to my mom without any reason earlier, but yeah, slowly I got in a habit of controlling that. And after that hospital episode, when I was discharged, so I resumed my work, I resumed my internship, and I made sure to eat healthy. I used to devote 15 to 20 minutes at least minimum to my exercise. And I really feel a difference back then and now. Even though I'm not, I cannot say that I'm hardcore into exercises or hardcore into eating healthy stuff. But yeah, it's very much better than what it used to be. Because earlier it was everything was kept upon me. My mom was always busy because she's also working. She's a doctor, so yeah, she has to work day and night. So everything was up to me. I had to get up at time. I had to complete my internship. I had to complete my classes. In between them, I had to fix some time towards eating. So one or the other things always was skipped, and it got a habit. I developed a habit of skipping my lunches. So yeah, I then after that episode, I talked to mom. She helped me out. Like she adjusted her timings at work so that we could spend some time eating together in the afternoon. So yeah, that's how we made it work, and that's how I'm making it work right now.
That's great, Nitya. I think, first of all, kudos to your mom. Everybody should know her mom is a doctor and she's representing one of the strongest league now. So we should be thankful for that and to the families as well. So we are thankful to you also, Nitya. So yes, I love the way you acknowledge the problem. It's
Yeah,
like when you are inside the problem and when you're in that hurricane, it's very difficult to look at the problem.
right,
You're like when you're outside a problem, looking like, oh, this is a hurricane
right,
in my life. So I'm kind of happy for you that you were able to do that for yourself and you were able to take out time and understand, oh, this is something which is happening wrong in my life, and I have to
right,
do something about it. And you took the first step. So it's like wabi sabi, step by step.
right.
So if you're able to do that, it's really going to help. And I'm so happy that you were able to understand that how much physical health and mental health
Right.
is important in your life. And if you don't,
It took uh, it took I think around 4 to 5 months and 2 doses of injections to make me realize that I should start paying attention to all these things in my life as well.
I agree what you say because there were times when I also neglect that you have to go out
Yeah,
for one or you have to do something because you have your own excuses that I have to write an essay or I
right,
have to do this assignment or I have a meeting tomorrow, so I have to prepare for that. And in all that thing, you are just running away from giving your body 20 minutes to
correct.
do some exercise. So
I used to procrastinate a lot. Even if I had 10 minutes, I used to lay down. I would just start watching an episode, or I would just lay down watching a novel, writing something or reading a novel. I would never give any time even for a small walk.
but I think that most of the students, and just not students, but everybody who like have been part of this pandemic and have been working from home, they will resonate with you about procrastination because
Yeah,
this disease entered with COVID, like as it was a collateral damage to
right.
pandemic because psychologically we were not able to handle the new norms and that's
Hmm.
why we were procrastinating or we were not able to sync. And even now we do. It's not like that we have acknowledged it and we don't do it. We still procrastinate on things. But I think
Right.
things will be different. So I think you're doing great. Not okay, but you're doing great. So my third question to you is what is your hope from the future as a student?
Okay. So I think as a student, what I would like to hope from the future is I never want myself to stop learning. Like it's not officially I won't be a student after my fourth year. I'll be starting a job at Citibank as a software engineer. But I would want to always keep myself like I've learned this actually from you because I've seen you in college. I've seen you as my teacher, and I would look at you, and you were always in the library studying something, helping students. I would always see you as always in the process of learning something new. So I think I don't want to be like getting into a department, getting into a zone where I would ever stop learning anything, be it anything. Like I think I've picked up learning guitar right now, so I feel that I should be a good guitarist in the near future. So, or if I pick up on another new subject, be it maths, be it economics, but I would want that I would figure out a way to pursue that and reach up to a point where I would say that right, I had this interest in my mind, I pursued it, and now I'm happy. So I would not want to find excuses to just push out learning from my life.
That's great. That sounds very motivating. But you don't need any motivation from me or anybody, because I've seen the way you welcome new challenges. So having said that, I would like my listener to know that she was my student when she
Yeah.
was there. And she's one of the most enigmatic students ever I had in my class. I could feel the energy while she was sitting in the class, and I was like, this girl is different. And now, maybe like, I think it's more than 4 years, right? Right?
Yeah.
And now we are here doing this podcast, but I would like to repeat it that one day she met me at the stairs of those long stairs of uh, the library, and then she was asking me about finance, that I want to do this, I want to do that, you have to tell me, how should I do this, how should I do CFA, oh, you know about finance, and tell me this, and that kind of gave me kind of wave of good feeling that, oh, look at this girl who have just entered her undergraduation, and she's so much up for doing new stuff. She's not even scared like how I'm gonna jump in it, but she's like, I just want to jump. So that was a good thing about Nitya.
I think I remember I've troubled you many times. I think I stopped you at a coffee house once, that because I did not have any money and I barely knew you, but I still asked you, please buy me some coffee and we can talk. I know you were in a hurry, but I anyway did that.
That's the confidence every person should have. Like most of the students were scared to talk to me, but she approached me and said, you're gonna buy me a coffee.
I did really say that.
I'll buy you a coffee because you're so confident. So again, I want to tell my listeners that in IIT, if you give somebody a treat, it is called chapo. So it has two words, cha and po, it's syllables. So cha means chai, that means the tea. And po, it's more like a samosa, if you guys want to know. It's like those fried fritters. So when you have tea and those fried fritters, it's something like a treat. But then now treat has evolved to pizza parties, to whatnot. But it's
exactly.
So you can go to any batch of any year, from 70s to 60s to 2000 to present. Everybody knows about the chapo. So yes, that was an interesting incident. So let me jump to our fourth question, which is, what is your message to the students around the world? So Nitya, this is a very important question. And I would like you to convey something, because you're a very strong personality as a student. And I want you to tell the students around the world that how you feel and what is your hope and what you're looking forward to.
Okay, I think there's so much that I think I would want to convey, and it's difficult to sum it up. But a very important thing that I also tell many of my juniors who come looking for advice in anything, I always feel that one should, not get carried away by the herd effect that is mostly seen in any college. There may be times that you may feel that, okay, somebody is interested in computer science or in that field and he or she has achieved so much, maybe I should also give it a try, and I'll also reach up that level, and then people will also praise me. But I think that's a very wrong school of thought. We should, any student should give it time. It's worth it. If somebody is spending 1 or 2 or 3 years finding out what exactly is her or his calling. It may be very difficult. There are, I think I also feel that I'm interested in so many things. So I think this is the time when we can do so many things. We are everybody, all the students are actually always in learning time and learning space, and there are so many resources all around the world. You have so many friends who are in different fields. So if you have so much a big network, if you want to learn anything, one can always reach out to so many people around that person. So rather than thinking that what my friend is doing or what that group is doing, anybody should first look into what I'm interested in, what actually interests me, even if it is not a very popular stream. But once you get once you gain a confidence in that zone, you will be the master of that field, right? So it does not matter if it's a very small field, it's a very unknown field, or if it's a very hyped field. Many a times I've also seen people are overcoming some of the streams like computer science, coding, etc., which are very much popular, thinking that everybody does that. Why should I do that? But I think this is a result of the hype created by students. If you know that 100 people are into something, there may be only 10 who actually know the stream. So you should never get carried away by what you hear or what you think might be the case. One should always look into the exact reality. One should get into a learning zone and then figure out for himself or herself that what exactly is I want to do for next. It can be a short-term goal, it can be a long-term goal. Like I think I always wanted to get into designing, but I knew that I never wanted to hardcore design anything. I just thought that it will be cool if I know some sort of designing. So I just decided for 1 or 2 months to pursue it, and right now I'm taking a design course, and I'll be doing that for another 1 month or 2 months, and then I'll drop it once I reach a certain level. So it's very important to figure out for oneself that what I want to do in this period of time, what I want to learn, what should I know as a person that interests me, rather than getting carried away by what everybody is expecting of the students today.
That's
So
great.
this is a very important thing that I feel.
I think this is one of the most important piece of 2 cent you have shared with the students around the world, because people know about it, but then they don't acknowledge it, that they have to look at this way also. So
Right.
yes, I definitely agree with you. And there are many students who, because of this particular issue, goes through so much confusion in their mind,
Right.
or maybe that they have this conundrum that whether they will be able to do it or not. So I totally understand these kind of issues which students are going through, but then how you are psychologically trying to frame your
Right.
problem, that is appreciable. So
Because I think everybody is so young right now, and it's okay to be 20 or 20s, and it's okay to be confused at this age, because this is the time when you will be confused. And only if you're confused, you're curious. And once you are curious about something, you'll always find out ways to learn something. So one should never, this is what I strongly believe, that one should never stop learning. And also at the same time, it's very important to take breaks also. It's okay if there's a week when you do nothing and just sit by doing your hobbies, just playing something, or it's okay. Like when you are in that break zone, and after when you've taken a long good break, that you have cleansed everything, like okay, I've been on a vacation. After that, you are so much refreshed to start something new or continue with your work. So this also I think one should live by.
absolutely, Nitya. I so agree with you, and I give the same advice. But I think you know a lot how to manage yourself, and I really appreciate that how you're helping your juniors in your college, because that makes a lot of difference. And I think all the juniors look up to the seniors, what they're doing and how they're
Yeah.
doing. They're superstars. So they're like, oh, if she has said something,
Right.
see off some.
Right.
So I think what you're doing is a great job, because you don't even know that how you're changing lives. So I'm proud of you, Nita. Good job.
Thank you so much.
So here with this, I would like to end this podcast with a lovely note of given by Nitya. that it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to cut some slack, but then come back on the track. And I think this is the mantra, or which our previous speaker also gave. So I think this is something which all the students around the world need to understand. It's okay if the world is getting tougher for you, if the things are getting harder for you, and if you're not able to find a path for yourself, it's all right. We have amazing students like Nitya who is saying that it's all right to find your path, just chill for some time, and then, revise your mind to come back on track. So thank you so much, Nitya, for
Welcome.
incredible
Thank you for having me.
help and your suggestions, that they all mean a lot. And you never know, any of the student listener might implement in his or her life and may get through it. So thank you so much, Nitya. And here we end our second episode of the podcast, Students of the World. So take care, listeners. Bye-bye.